It's a 0-0.
I'm surprised Kane doesn't just square this straight a goal on his left foot.
If that touch is just too heavy, if that touch is slightly left in it.
But if he's on the other side of the goal and it arrives to him on his right foot, he hits it first time. Why not hit this first time?
Yes, I suppose that would be an option, but I don't have anything wrong with trying to take it around the keeper.
Really? Well, watch it again. I want to when we watch this again. Because to me, where he gets the ball is within the 6-yard box.
He has to volley it first time.
Yeah, like if you're in the 6-yard box, taking touches and trying to be clever, I don't know.
His head's gone, isn't it? Really?
What, Kane? I mean, you do start to worry. You do start to wonder.
I mean, I was the champion of the whole. You got to stick with your best goal scorer, blah 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 blah. But you know, we've belong to that. To say he's out of form is an understatement.
Rashford's not a line,
no, but that's who you bring on. When you play with the full style, maybe.
But like, that's the thing. This is how Don Southgate is. If you're going to take Kane on, the one guy you could bring on to it isn't there.
Although there's the option of doing what City have done with Sterling.
Yeah,
put him in the middle.
False nine, but I don't think England.
Germany's defence.
I don't think England could deal with a false nine. I don't think that is music to.
I agree.
I didn't music to there is Matt Hamilton just headed all the way to Harry Kane. That's it. We're not even getting behind you.
No, that's scary. We can analyse this game two ways so far. There is a way to say it's fairly uninspiring, fairly old approach from Southgate, and all of those things may be true. But also, we should acknowledge the score is 0-0. England have had the best chance of the game. We haven't controlled the game. All of that is true, but the two facts are it is 0-0, which we would have taken before the game. The best chance of the game has befallen Harry Kane. Again, we would have taken that before the game. So, with the risk of sounding like the only way is up.
It's actually where to cut off from. Yeah, but I think we're talking about Germany as it's a very good Germany team. It's a German team in transition. The way to win negative. And we should be performing better. You're right in saying.
Do you know what?
There are many good champions.
I watched this Germany team slap up Portugal, and nobody was saying they're a team in transition.
But you also saw Hungary properly.
Yeah.
Tell you what though, guys, what both your points allude to is that actually this isn't a tournament to speak about quality. This has actually been a tournament that isn't. If we're being honest, part of the reason that the tournament's been so entertaining is because the teams have lacked being sure of themselves, and very often they've been exploited tactically. So you missed that, you were in the toilet at the time. So Rory's missed the shot that he missed when Sterling. That was when Sterling shot after 1 minute. Yeah, to finish the point, basically, this is a tournament which has lacked quality at times in terms of the chance of quality of defensive organisation, and so it's become about matchups and not actually about the quality outfield, as we saw with Switzerland, as we saw with other teams have gone through, as we saw with Spain. And there have been times where those teams have been exploited. And actually, you could make an argument. The idea that Gareth Southgate is doing what's right in this tournament, which is play towards the matchup. I think don't play towards the quality of the side. Don't go with the quality, because sometimes the quality, like Mbappe last night, completely taken out.
The other thing with the tournament is being in it is how you win it, not going out. So it's
very close to the phrase we're looking for.
So simply, bear with me. That was an odd phrasing, but bear with me. And I think you'll find a semblance of truth at home on this. Okay. Staying in a tournament is how you win it, and therefore playing to stay in rather than playing to win, playing to not go out, is a tactic that can work.
Sure.
It's just one thing. England not setting up to win. England setting up not to lose, and it ultimately will mean that you win.
But to add to that, then, that's one thing that the England fans don't. They like to think of themselves as the aggressive side, the side that go forward, the ones that. So it doesn't quite fit the national identity. No, but it doesn't fit the squad either. It doesn't fit the squad. And you can do it in this game, cool. But the facts are you've done it against Czech Republic.
No, but it's a template that you adopt for a tournament
team,
and it's a template. If that is the motivation of Holland and Southgate, that template is what will be enacted from day one. Yes, they will be playing not to.
But when you play that way against Scotland, you give them a chance. When you play that way against Czech Republic, you give them a chance. If we get through today and we go play Sweden or Ukraine, if we play like that, we'll give them a chance.
You do,
because we're not playing to our shape.
You're less likely. You're giving them less of a chance playing negatively than you are playing offensively.
Is it fair to say that's what Paul Tuchel think that's healthy? Not as Tuchel said back five, and let us be competitive in the Champions final. tough game.
Yeah, but Spain won a World Cup scoring 6.
They scored 8. I know it was awful
Don't
what scored the
control
games did, didn't they? But Spain did control. Look at the team we've got. They had a team that pass, death by 1,000 cuts or whatever you call it. We've got a team that needs to be playing to their strengths, speed, aggression, skill, going forward. We haven't got.
This might be our strength.
Like Rory says, we haven't got the best holding midfielders in the world. We haven't got the best defence. So why are we playing defensive?
But this could be. I mean, I'm not agreeing with this. I'm not saying I love 5-3-2. I'm not saying that.
You
But
are.
our strengths are we've got fantastic fullbacks in terms of we've got versatility in Kyle Walker. We've got great fullbacks. We've got Harry Kane who's good in the air. That is us. We don't have four. We can't play 4-3-2 with Iniesta, Busquets.
Can I ask you a question? When was the last time you seen Harry Kane had a headed chance?
No, it hasn't worked yet, but we're still in the tournament.
But him not having a headed chance doesn't mean he's not good at it.
We've made it out of the group stage. I think you just.
Against the boys, I just
accepted mediocrity.
I haven't lost a game.
Against the
goal.
Against the Croatian side that looked very good against Spain.
In this, going into Euro,
and went out
an open game for Euro.
Yeah, you got to the World Cup final.
They conceded 5 against a shit
Got to
Spain.
the World Cup final.
Spain are shit.
It's not the same team. England got about a 66.
Haaland just tweeted out how to bring on Sancho.
And then he went for my Man City brother. How come North Macedonia got to the Euro? And my man's Norway team's kicking out. Did he not play?
They just didn't play well enough in the.
You'd expect him to like drag us into. There were a few strange ones that basically made like the playoffs made this tournament a bit weird. You're trying to force too many teams in, and it's similar to the Champions League at times. But you know something that isn't messed up? Free trade. Freetrade.io/TG. That's freetrade.io/TG. There's no out section. There's also the opportunity to use your keyboard if you're lazy. Anyway, they're a great trading app, which basically makes it easy for beginners and experts alike. There are a lot of beginners around this table, but there are also some experts. Isn't that right, Mikael? Yeah, man. Someone somewhere. Yeah, to anyone anywhere. But the point is, you can go to freetrade.io/TG, and if you sign up over there, you can get yourself a share worth up to £200. It's anyone who's close on the stock market and much further than that. It's a fantastic trading platform, so head over there, go take a look. Remember, if you do invest, your capital is your capital, but you're investing there, so it will be a risk. And they don't charge percentages on any of their transactions, but they do charge some fees. It's very normal on these kind of apps, so don't get over there and be surprised by any of that. Ryan, you make a good trader. That's all I'm saying. I think you've got the balls for it.
I've got the right temperament for it, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of risk in my life.
Well, if you like risk, then you're going to love the 22,000 people who will risk watching the rest of it.
Shout out to you lot. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on Twitch. Appreciate it. We're trying to get to 6,500 subscribers. If you can help us, that would be much.
What are we on right now? I'll sort this out.
Alright, he's going to sort it out. So what are you going to do?
Elliot, tell me when it lands, okay? Ready?
So no, what are you doing?
Sorry, they don't need a build up. They know when to stop. And it's in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Rory, just to be clear, I will illustrate. Rory is holding his breath now until we reach 6,500.
You're going to have to subscribe me, this is going to die.
To be fair, the comments Brian very often go, die, that's Rory gets these bits.
I'm unsubscribing.
Shout out to everyone who just subscribed to Save Rory. Appreciate you.
Shout out to
wow, that jump.
Whoa. BJ Army earlier on did give 25 subs. BJ really.
We're nearly there.
Oh, really? Really? You didn't kill me.
We're nearly there.
How many have we got up?
Well, that was decently.
You could have been a
over 100 in seconds then.
There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping me.
BJ Army just gifted another 10. You almost tried to say that.
BJ Army, thank you.
Big love to you lot. We're only, what we are, 200 away from the goal. Thanks very much.
To be fair to Rory, he always said to me, I love the BJ Army.
Absolutely.
He said that for years. Then we didn't even know about Twitch then.
Billy Joe.
Yeah, Billy Joe.
Big fan of Billy Joe.
Yeah. You just a piano man. So in the second half, what is it then? Do they just continue with this, or what's the?
I think what's going to happen here in this discussion is people are going to go Grealish, get him on, get Sancho on.
People,
but ultimately, I mean people in the room, but people in the world as well. People are going to no, not necessarily. There is an argument for that as well. Of course there is. But I also think that the score is 0-0. We're playing a team that are more gifted than us. We are at home, so it's level. Ultimately, we've had the better chances. They've had the ball. We've had 2 of the better chances. One I didn't even know happened last time we had this conversation.
Yeah, because you were in the toilet at the time.
Nobody, Craig David didn't fill me in.
Right.
But We've had the sandwich. We've had the Sterling shot. We've had the Sterling shot, which was a decent opportunity that I didn't even know about.
Pete looked at this
I think
good old Craig David.
Harry Kane should have scored. Harry Kane should have scored. England should be 1-0 up. Had that gone in, had Harry Kane been as clinical as we know he can be, we would be 1-0 up now. And therefore, Southgate's tactics would be at least working to a point. And therefore, I think that we just need to keep doing what we're doing. When we get to 65, 70, 75, you can start thinking about maybe Grealish. But equally, then it becomes the jeopardy. You can't risk it stuff then. Because then one goal becomes the winner.
So what Rory's just said, is take 5 minutes, bring someone on, or maybe not.
Do you know what I think, honestly? And this is not going to be the way that the comments are feeling about the game, and I doubt it's the way that people in this room are feeling. I think we've done quite well. I'm quite happy.
You in the toilet for that as well? When we sat around.
But I'm also quite happy. I've been in the toilet a lot today. I don't know what's going on down there. But I do also think that we should just sit tight. I don't necessarily think we need any changes yet. We've done well, 2 good chances. Third time lucky, go 1-0 up, and then get Tyrone Mings on, hope for the best.
And Jordan Henderson.
One of the worries for me is because of the way we've set up, is if Germany do score, it's a much bigger upheaval for a defensively set up England to change tactics than it would be if we went 1-0 up. Germany then have to make minimal changes, in my opinion, to put the pressure on us, whereas we 1-0 down for us is worse for us than it is for them because of. And another thing I do want to say that I really feel like I've noticed is Gareth Southgate, when he said after that Scotland game, well, on the bright side we didn't concede at all, and how poor we looked in that game. I feel like Southgate plays with fear, and if you have creative players, the one way you will annihilate it, in fact, is by instilling that same fear into them, which is why even if Southgate was to play the players who Adam feels should be starting this game, he will never, and I can't stress this enough, in my opinion, ever get the best out of creative players to get the club level form out of players like Grealish and Foden, because A, he hasn't got a clue about that, in my opinion, but B, he isn't going to be the kind of manager who gives them that inner belief, like a Bobby Robson, like your Alex Ferguson's, but even managers who aren't at that level, he's just not going to make you feel like you can express yourself.
Bobby Robson got us to the semi-final of the World Cup. Absolutely. You couldn't have any further. Southgate's got us to the semi-final.
I appreciate that.
Bobby Robson would have beat that Croatia.
I'm not saying. My point isn't obviously Bobby Robson is a better manager. Was a better Southgate, obviously, but that's not even the debate I'm having. I'm just saying, when it comes to getting the best out of attacking players, I used him as an example of someone who got in their heads and made them believe in themselves. Whereas for me, the whole system, the whole setup is about cancelling out what the other team does, and that is a state of mind.
When you called Lucy a coward, remember?
Yeah.
And I disagreed with that because I felt the options that you had available to you meant you kind of had no choice. He's a coward.
Well, because he has better options.
Yeah, he's
But Brian, do you know what I think is interesting there? You said that you don't think that Gareth Southgate, and I would agree with this, you don't think Gareth Southgate has it in him to help our more mercurial players find their club level form. That's what you
do.
You don't think Southgate's that man. I think I agree. With that in mind, is it not quite... Do you not respect Southgate for perhaps acknowledging that in himself? The way that people generally perceive themselves, they don't see that flaw. So Southgate has perhaps identified that in his own limitations. Southgate has perhaps said, do you know what? The way that I see the game being played, the way that I like to play the game, the way that I think the game should be played, doesn't allow for Jack Grealish. I can't coach the performance out of it. Therefore, I'm not going to play them.
I think if I knew that, I'd have more respect for him. If he was a bit more like, let's say, Mourinho, for example, and when look, I ain't going to even entertain the idea of playing an expansive game of football. I'm going to defend for our lives. I'm going to try and nick a 1-0 draw, and we're going to shithouse our way to the final. I'd love that, actually. But I am not sure. I don't believe that Southgate stumbled over the reality of
I
that.
There's also a
it's
potential
everywhere.
that he's good for the younger players, and that he's saying good for them.
Chance for Germany,
And
drops in the
also,
box.
If you're saying, I want a manager that's just going to accept that, then England need a better.
Another chance for Havertz. What a save by Pickford.
What a save and what a shot.
Come on!
Havertz has been a different player since last few months, since Thomas Tuchel and that.
Well, I think the ability that we've seen in him is really good.
Just straight at him. Straight at him. Thought it was a great save. I don't know if it's world class or world class save.
I've got to give credit
If
to
that
Pickford.
goes in,
Yeah.
if that goes in, you probably say
Yeah, both could be true.
Strong hand. Yeah, it was a good strong hand on it, to be fair. Pickford.
Oh, good
That's a foul.
defending.
That's gotta be a foul.
Play Kane. Was that
Oh.
Kane with the header out? Yeah.
Oh, I made
That's
it.
insane, though.
That was the best strike of the game, easily.
Yeah. That's horrible. I see what you're saying, though, Rory. He's basically acknowledging the reality of what's going on for him. I'm not going to play fancy.
Yeah.
I am just going to do.
I'm going to play pragmatic, stay on football,
And in
I
many ways,
do that, and it's effective.
that does take an element of bravery. I don't want to coward, but for you to hold your nerve when you're playing football,
Yes.
It's only you. Grealish, where's Grealish?
yeah,
Where's
that
Sancho?
does take an element of self-belief, of bravery. I think, to be
No,
willing
I
to do that.
disagree on one thing, though. It's like, I think as a supporter of a club who does that all the time, and you basically get ready for a hiding and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Football fans generally don't mind playing the top team and going two holding midfield on. We're going to have five at the back. Well, I've got no problem with that against Germany. All right, I'd probably do with the front three a bit different, but it's the fact that we did that. We played a negative team against Scotland, and that was bad. When you're so negative against teams who are beneath you, who you should be going for, even if you don't fucking pull it off, at least go for it. The fact that we played that exact same state of mind, even if the players were in different positions, that was why I think Southgate's a fan.
But do you not think that in a tournament like this, it's very difficult to get people playing one system perfectly? So it's almost impossible for anyone to get any team playing two systems.
Yeah,
So you have to effectively adopt a system. You're going to play expansive, or you're going to play two holding midfielders and fairly conservative.
Southgate
But even change
was to
system
get
in-
more out of the
in-
younger
It's still
players.
conservative.
Oh, I get that.
It's still a conservative.
By that, but obviously by that logic, he has changed
Yes.
the system.
No, but what he hasn't done, he hasn't gone from like what you wanted to do really is go. When you're playing Germany, do what you have to do, sure up. When you're playing Scotland, free flowing. That's very difficult. What he's done is go conservative in both games.
Well, you've watched a lot of obviously a lot of those pricks. You've watched a lot of you've watched a lot of Chelsea, obviously, and defensive-minded managers. Like, you know when obviously Mourinho came back the second time, it was
Yeah, the second time was dry.
It was
I mean,
more defensive. But did Jose not, for the games he should be, going for, did he not play more attacking against those lesser teams?
yes. He did. And also, even when we were defensive, there was always a thrust. There was always an opportunity.
Like from Sterling, come on, get it in, give it!
I think Kane did it out.
No, he needed the run.
Kane did it. Kane did it.
Sterling was waiting.
I think we're very quick to blame Sterling sometimes for Kane's fault. He sat there waiting for the.
I agree, but he could, like, yeah, you don't do nothing.
Don't play the part,
Which we have seen Sterling running the defenders without looking up countless times to defend.
Sterling wanted Kane to make a run.
Yeah.
Kane should have made it. Kane should have made it. But the fact that Kane didn't make it doesn't mean Sterling does nothing.
No, I hear you, but I just think, I think, especially over the last 3-4 games, Sterling's got a lot of crystals and he'd be better than the main man number 9 who.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Kane, Sterling's outperformed Kane in this tournament.
And you know, in regards to Southgate, you're talking about it, I don't mind Rory because when he came in, he was given this remit. We've got all these great young players and we need a manager or a coach who's going to get the best out of them. Can you truly say from the bottom of your heart he's getting the best out of his squad?
No, but what I would also say, I think it's fairly naive, and I'm not suggesting you're naive, but that's not why he was given the job. That might be the official reason that he was given the job, but Gareth Southgate wasn't given the job because of his brilliance of bringing through young players. Gareth Southgate was given the job for a multitude
But
of
he
reasons.
took the 23.
No, but he was
developed a lot.
yeah, he was told, we were told, oh, he's going to be brilliant, bringing through young players, but we have no track record of that. I mean, Brian has spoken at length about the 2015 under 21 tournament, where he oversaw it in England, finished bottom of the group. He has no track record of that. That may be the that may be
It
the
was
reason.
bad. It was bad. And ironically, I found it on the video of me once I thought I'd delete it.
Kane, you've got to hold it up in that situation.
Take that armband off, man. You shouldn't be wearing that armband. Give it to Harry Maguire.
I look back through like some of my old analysis, and I even played it to you, I think yesterday.
God.
And you literally hear me
Oh.
go, Kane's barely had a touch. He's so isolated. He hasn't had a touch all game. And this was 2015.
Kane's down.
We finished bottom of the group, and it was almost like I was literally talking about this team, like this exact moment.
No,
He bottled that then. He should have went up for the header. And he never.
but
That's why he's come out.
the reason that that's relevant now is because
Look, he doesn't even go up for it. He just runs.
You can't go from here.
What is Kane
This is the
doing
only way.
I think what he was doing is anticipating the challenge
Oh,
coming
right,
over him.
Yeah.
And he's going to try and win the free, like
He's
Shearer
going to win the
style.
free kick, yeah.
He's
And,
bottled it.
and it was very good defending because the challenge never came. He obviously gave the impression that he was going to challenge and didn't.
I love how they cut the camera as soon as you realise you're on camera. As soon as you go, hey, let's
Hey,
Gone. There's David Beckham next to Jack, our runner. Sorry, Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran having a great conversation with Beckham, wasn't he?
They look like they were deep. To be fair, I think those two are probably two men where you don't need many words.
Or any.
You say it's best.
Just two Beckham turns and go,
Alright, guys.
hit the club after this, hey, Ed.
No, but the club's not the best place to find a lover.
No, exactly. Yeah, good
In 10
point.
minutes.
The bar's where I'd go.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, look for a lover.
Is this Kane coming up?
He just needs a friend. He's looking for a madness.
Is Rashford the right option though? As a
I
replacement?
think Rashford would be a great.
He's the only option.
I think Rashford would be a great
as a
option.
striker. him to the fucking.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna
You
say
can't,
he made Sterling
Yeah.
world class.
I know you're not blaming
Let's
everything
do
on
the long
Sterling.
way now.
I do feel sorry for Sterling.
No,
Best of a shit one.
Just as you say that, it literally cuts to Grealish. Grealish on the bench looking miserable.
Can I just say, I'm not backing him, I just find it. Most of the time we criticise him when he's possibly been England's best player.
not today. Not
In
today.
a tournament.
Yeah,
Not today.
Not today.
But he's had all the opportunities. When you're Jack Grealish and you've got more talent in your fucking little toe than Sterling has,
I get it.
and you haven't had all the fucking.
Really got to get a shout.
You've had to carry Aston Villa on your back for the last
Sterling's got
5
us out of the group stage. Sterling's literally got us here against Germany. And we're still. That's why this man is a football because he's like sucking the team.
But he's had an hour now, hasn't he? Sterling as well.
So my team, I'd drop him down with Grealish.
Yeah, I mean,
Surely the fans in the stadium will be singing One Jackie Wilson. Surely.
Sterling may have scored goals. They just can't. In this tournament, he scored 2 goals, and yeah, credit to him. But you know, when he's playing shit, it's impossible to ignore, isn't it? I mean, Harry Kane's been moaning on
Don't
him.
let him get in the box. Why is it? What? Kieran Trippier has just allowed Kai Havertz to tick tap 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 forward until he's in the box. Why we keep him out of the box? Go 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 go!
I've got to run that. Counter.
No,
Draw foul off. That's not a foul.
Well drawn.
Oh, the foul.
Yeah.
It's been given away. Weren't a foul. That weren't a foul. No. That is a foul. That is a foul. Actually. The ball moved.
What are you? Never done that.
I don't mind. It's a foul. I'm just saying. You got a ball.
See, there was a better opportunity there, though. I mean, I know winning a free kick in that situation is good, taking the pressure off the defence and all that, but I feel like England had a real opportunity there.
Right. It's again. We get the ball. We're slow as fuck to move it, and he runs into traffic. A player of his quality should be able to do something more than that. Just win a fucking free kick. We're on the break. If you're going to counter attack, the whole point of this team set up today was to counter attack. Where we've got players who can break quicker than that. That's what
We want a counter attack that will leave our best winger on the bench and one of our best players. Just the way it works. Just counter attack.
Turn. Saka or Rudiger here, come on.
Saka's been trash this game. No, he hasn't. In the first half, he was the best player. In the first half, he was the best player. I remember after half an hour, I went Saka. But England have been shit. That's why he's been England's best player. Has he been? I think he's been. You see, you and Rory, you're trying to stay with Southgate and kind of agree with everything he's doing, but then you criticise poor Saka.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, right?
I understand what level I want England to do.
Yeah, Grealish is coming on. So
That's literally the best thing I've heard all day.
by the way, Booby, you know when someone says something in your ear, you then have to actually say it on air. So in our headphones, LA, the producer just went, Jack Grealish is coming on. So on air, you just went, and got for that. It's amazing things in there. It's fantastic. We've got a chat with him on the pitch. Only the best presenters can say in their ears. It's tricky. Most presenters go.
When me and you used to, we first started doing presenting gigs together, and they tried to put like earpiece in my ear, and I went, "Give it, Lawrence." And they were like, "What do you mean? You need to know it. You need to know that I'm just going to talk to the camera." Alright?
He knows how to get the best out of himself. He knows how to
That's it.
get the best out of himself. Yeah.
It was such a like.
exactly.
That was a fun show to do though, because we could just fuck around for ages.
Genuinely, we just fucked around.
We just got sandwiches and fucked around. It was great. I'm a bit like that. I hate having too much to look at.
Yeah.
I'd rather just blag it. I'll tell a story. I know the intro and all that. Cool, let's go. After we did a political clip the other day, which I was having someone messaging on me like, shows something political now. Show the political. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, oh, sorry about that. Sometimes I think my politics is like, you know what? Since you got money, you guys have been nothing but shit. You can tell that money's gone to your head. And I literally messaged back and went, hey, we've got less money when we fucking started doing these shows, so you've got no idea what you're talking about.
Money's changed.
The money's changed, yeah. He went, the money's changed, Joe. But what the lack of it? The lack of it is to get more. Yeah. I'm not from that geezer.
Uh,
Saka off for Grealish. Good news. And Gnabry obviously comes on, so
Timo
both
Werner
teams
off.
going a bit more, a different kind of attack, Spencer.
See, if I was England manager, I would have been taking Grealish off of him for Saka.
Wow, you really rate your management skills.
That's really great, Jack Grealish.
Right, come on then, Jack.
If it's, you know, if you were England manager, would it be like when Homer Simpson was coaching the Pee Wee football?
No, it'd be like Mike Bassett.
Right, okay. Hey, cheers,
I immediately feel a bit more positive having Grealish on the pitch, and I hope that's not leaving the loop. He just brings excitement to the team.
If we win this 1-0 with him, well, it's genius.
That's not genius. It's not genius.
It shows you how wrong he was.
Come on.
No, he doesn't know that.
If you get against
You've
a
got to
better
give
side,
it. If England lose, I think then you're correct. If England lose, you are
I
correct.
could use that need to lay off the call there for Southgate.
But surely that's fair. If England lose, then everything you're saying about the team selection is correct. But if England win, then surely you have to say he's got it right. How can we win and get it wrong?
We got through the groups.
So you say whatever happens, England get it wrong. Southgate got it wrong. However the game for England win this,
Southgate hasn't maximised the potential of
if
this English
England win this game 3-0 from here, Southgate got it wrong.
What kind of question is that? England aren't going to win 3-0.
No, it's fine. If England win 3-0, we got it wrong.
Has Gareth Southgate got enough out of this England squad? Answer that question.
The point is to answer that question.
If he beats Germany 1-0,
The point is to answer the point is to answer.
It's more important to win the tournament than how we play. England are the biggest underachievers in world football. That's the fact. It's not one.
yeah, because we've got a dickhead manager, that's why.
Have you seen this as a free kick?
Yeah, that is a free. It's accidentally, that's what pointed out there, Brian. Yeah, you've really.
That wasn't a free kick.
That was. I think he took his legs.
No, but he played the ball out and we won the throw, and then he just went down over like a tap.
Maybe Grealish should have.
It looks worse than Son.
I think-
Honestly,
yeah,
when you watch that in real time, was it not?
I think maybe it wasn't enough for Kai Havertz to go down.
That's what I'm on about.
But it wasn't foul.
I'm running back.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the angle where I can.
All I'm saying is these fucking Germans are soft as shit. Alright? Do you know what else I love though? Every team that we play, you know, like, no matter where they're from, they get called their team name. But the minute we play Germany, it's the Germans.
Why's that gun in your trousers, Tommy?
Yeah.
Are we the baddies? Are we the baddies?
We are the baddies. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it.
And I don't do that, but why?
You see, that's my problem now. Every time I read that quote, I have to the other problem. Historical comedians we know talking about.
Oh, God.
So Mitchell and Webb. Well, one of them is
Yeah.
the other one, the office, the other one's Fawlty Towers.
So we're now just combining all of our favourites.
All my favourite ones, then that's what the Basil Cole.
Oh, red.
And we've got yellow card on the head, yellow card for that man.
Come on, then give him the card.
Ruby gets angry at the referee when
Why,
he
if that German lad just went like this to the ref,
Yeah.
he'd be going, that's that disgrace.
Good, yeah, thank you very much. Yellow. Oh, Ruby's happy now. Is it good refereeing there from UEFA for once? Of course it is. Of course it is.
That is filthy.
Right, I'm not something, isn't it? Yeah.
Ready for the hard one.
Same as Grealish.
Again.
No, but I think when you go studs on
This-
the top, you know what you're doing.
Grealish just took his legs.
I always used to quite
Look,
like that
guys.
one when I used to play.
That's a really
This
I
unpleasant.
don't always
race
because
is
you know
the
the fullback
hardest.
clearing it as a
in ball
fullback.
missing.
You know, if you just put your foot there as if you're trying to block.
Yeah, they kick you
But they
behind
kick
your
the
foot.
bottom of this thing. I'd always do that. I go, well, hey, you kick me. Genius.
You're such a shit.
Oh, why your foot feels like it's burning.
That's actually, that's an England corner if that goes down. Played short. Connected well there to get that away there. The Germans have been under pressure for a little while now. I feel like Germany aren't looking as nearly as confident as I expected them.
But when you think how well they played for the
Yeah.
10 minutes,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
the opening 10, they were so dominant, weren't they? Since then, it's been fairly.
Like we said though, at half time, it's been about matchups and actually England have matched up Germany. Quite well.
Yes.
Apart from obviously
With
the
the amount of quality,
they
you can win a lot.
And that's what we're waiting for. I would like to see Bellingham come on, to be honest, because I think, generally speaking, we're managing the game well, and that's something I will give Southgate some credit for, is that they're playing with pretty cool heads, the lads, but if we have to start thinking about winning it now. We can't.
That dead leg or
He will. This is very decent wrestling.
At
Like
some point, we
75
have to take the game to them. We can't just play until penalties like this. There needs to be a bit more risk taking.
Also because I think if it comes clear that England were playing penalties, Germany would.
He's been linked with views, that, isn't he? Yeah, I'd love him. I don't know why they'd ever sell him to us. I don't get
Chelsea would never want to sell, but I do understand why City want him.
Yes, sister plays for us. Don't get me wrong, I love it. It's just time to move to Chelsea. Would he play right centre back for you?
But in every
And then push Kyle Walker off, as opposed to Kyle Walker being right centre back now. Kyle Walker plays for City. No, I'm talking about this England side. Now Reece James is coming on. Where would you play Reece James?
No, yes, I don't think Reece James. I think Kyle Walker is a much better. It's not about who's a better right fullback. It's about who's going to be a better centre half. Who's going to be a trustworthy centre half, and that's definitely Kyle Walker.
Long term, Reece James is a smart player, I think.
I don't think. Yeah, I think he's a very good footballer, but I wouldn't want him to have a debut in a position.
I thought you played for Chelsea there a few times. On the right side, played centre back.
Not of any great length. So, but no, I think he is more. He's also very naturally forward thinking. Which could be a problem. You know, when your natural intention is to move forward.
Fuck's sakes, man. What a shocking goal. What's Grealish supposed to do with that shit?
So tense now.
But yeah, I get the feeling sometimes Southgate will put him on for like 15 minutes, and then if you don't really start, and I told you, I'm not trying to start him. I feel like that's the kind of geezer he is. Just a rat.
I mean, the fact is, I wouldn't say Saka had a bad game or anything like that, but I wouldn't highlight him as somebody who needs to sort of shut up. But the reality is that the front three have not been good today, and you can make a case for any one of them.
Harry Kane has barely touched the ball.
Speaking of which, he's on the ball. It's Grealish. Get it now. Come on, short. Get it!
Everything goes wild. If you go one block for Sterling and Sterling, it's key from the combination of Kane, Sterling, and Grealish there. Luke Shaw as well. Luke Shaw, yeah. Fantastic combination. Wembley goes wild. Look at that. Jack Grealish again, though, coming on. Completely changed the movement of the team. Thank God Harry Kane got turn and shoot there. You know what? What it did was it put Grealish right in the middle. I would have loved to have heard that crowd there.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
oh.
Fucking sit down. As you can see, Prince William going wild.
Oh my God.
Woohoo.
I'm glad Jack
Harry
had his
Kane's
feet.
Harry Kane's on side, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought he wasn't going to pass that then.
No, he's on.
Oh, Kane's off.
Sterling's on. Sterling's on.
So, what are you saying now about Raheem Sterling, eh? Nicola? Me? I was defending him a minute ago. When you lot were laying into it, you. Okay. What are you saying about Sterling now, eh, Brian? Huh?
Good tackle.
Yeah. Good tackle. What's your review? Pretty much what they're going to do is which is what you're saying.
But genuinely, my whole point was, you either play him in what he did well at City, or don't play him at all.
Oh my God, man. So what Southgate has done is he's matched up. This is Germany very well.
Genius.
It is. If you beat Germany 1-0 in a knockout, it's genius. 1-0 up. Playing the Germans in there.
The one thing you've got now, Adam, though, is it was Grealish. It was the.
No, I've got. I was in that one.
Really sure assist.
We'll always have Grealish.
Who gave the ball to Liverpool?
Who gave it to Grealish?
The referee's giving a Harry Kane. What's that now? Wonderful kick.
Oh God!
Kick to Germany. Pickford doesn't look happy with his kid.
Who's got looking there? Is it Maguire?
Maguire.
What is with the curtains of Pickford? It's a bit of a, you look. I mean, he's
really
bringing
foul
that.
that. He's trying to keep the length, but because he's kept the length, he's not managed to like get a style. I had that problem many years.
I don't know if it was a foul on purpose. I think Harry Maguire just
caught his knee.
Yeah. I don't think he intended to foul him. I was thinking their legs clashed.
Sometimes when you're a defender, you know when your legs are going to clash.
Yeah, you don't.
You know. It's a dangerous one.
It's terrible. Good old Green.
To be fair, the Germans, as we call them up north, they've not really done much this half, have they? So I think they'd feel fortunate if they were back in it. Because I think our pressure has been pretty good here.
So Phillips is laying down again behind the goal. I like the way that Pickford takes up a fairly neutral position, so he doesn't go one side or the other. It looks like a penalty. Very neutral. That's brilliant.
Like Futurama. Neutral. Remember that?
Yeah. That's such an old reference. Wow, look, what I love is the cameraman goes, and then the England fans go, woo! Spring break!
Yeah.
It'd be so good if England won this tournament. Imagine like everyone starts getting released. You change your tune.
Yeah, here we go.
No, imagine the country though. You get released. I was watching that geezer. He was about to suck that fella's tit then. I was watching that thinking, imagine the scenes if England won the Euros and were all released at the same time.
No, the chat really
Watch
go.
Sterling hold it up there.
Ball move.
Very good. Harry Kane would have been offside. Fucking hell. Always finding a way to be negative. Always finding a way to be negative. Look at scenes.
Wembley.
That's good.
I'll bring someone on now. Just from
Do you know the reality? And it was an inspired substitution. That's the reality. He made the substitution. It has an immediate impact.
You've got to ask yourself though, Rory, if he'd started it before.
That's not how it works.
Also, was it inspired by a magical injury from did Taka go? Bossam. Remember what we planned for the
He
game?
has lots of players to bring on.
There we go. World class Declan Rice making a great tackle in midfield there. Now they're being great. Got to give it easy, though. They give it easy there, mate. What is that?
We're in a great position, yeah.
Great position. This is like chess. This. I like that. Footballers can do such little things that.
Yeah, make
Don't
them
cost them nothing and make fans look just like, come on, lad.
Do you know what? Do you know where I will always love it, regardless of how well you play? You know, if I've travelled, if I'm in Middlesbrough on a Tuesday night, as you're leaving, you've been beat 2-0. If you look over to the away fans, like,
Come on, don't fall off, man.
They're close, they're up.
Don't
The
fall
other
off.
kid who put in a like, man of the match performance, the big clapper, so he can leave in the
Well,
summer.
someone will be fuming and walk straight down to him and go, he don't care! He don't care, he's just angry, bro. That's what I think cost really United. You know, like, honestly, he had the transfer, but he could have done little things like just running into the crowd, like, you know, like little things that he did to get people back. He did, but I think by then it was like a lot of the PR machine. Yeah, the opinion changed. Maybe if he'd been nice to people at FIFA events, he would have got a better rap.
Shaw's been fantastic as well. Shaw's been immense today.
Come on, 10 minutes, lads, 10 minutes. And we're off to Rome on Saturday.
Just entertain this theory with me, right? So England go through today. You know, they go through, they play Sweden or Ukraine.
Oh my god.
In Rome.
No, Sterling, he's given the ball away and they're through. Oh no, it's Muller.
That's amazing. How did he miss that?
Lost my chair.
And I just say, everyone saying I was bang out or whatever, the Sterling stuff, that's the other side of it.
Right.
The stupid cunt gave the ball away to the worst possible position. I mean, mate, literally, what more could you ask for if you're Germany? You put it on a plane for it. That was the most creative thing Sterling's done. Do you know what Miller's like? Miller's like that, yeah?
There's something in the pitch that's made that bubble look.
That's a poor
Bubble, not in the bubble. That is just about pitch, though. That could be scored. There's a big
Wembley's a great.
unnatural bubble on that.
That is.
Have you played at Wembley before? Yeah, no. Are you sure?
That's still, it's a
Genuinely, I remember when I went.
You caught him there.
When I went out, genuinely, I remember being. Were you like this? I was stunned at how shit the
Really? Oh, really?
Did you not think it was terrible?
I play a lot of
Do you know what? They always host those tournaments. And, like,
At the worst time.
worse at the end of the season.
Yeah. I remember being like, it was so uneven.
Yeah, but
You
I do remember.
don't think it was uneven?
Yes, but I do remember how big
Might be playoff finals. Yeah, but the night before you played there, they could have had Tina Turner on and 80,000 people on the pitch.
Simply the best. Because I have all the sponsors and that. We're winning it. So anyway, Rory, before Mother ran through, I took away my whole section of the. We're winning. We'll play through. Jordan Henson's coming out, by the way. We should definitely trust that. They play Sweden or Ukraine. Think of that name, right? Brilliant.
I mean, Sweden or Ukraine in Rome is exactly what you.
I'd rather play Ukraine, but either of them.
If we beat them, then
This is the route to the final, right? Then get through that. Czech Republic. Yeah. You don't want Denmark. You don't want Czech Republic. We do like it already. You beat them. The Czech Republic did look pretty happy. Yeah, we beat much terrible. Okay. But the Czech Republic beat the Netherlands. Let's say it surprised them though.
by the way, we're starting off Czech Republic.
The fact
They've
are,
lost to them, so it's like
the Dutch are shit. The Dutch are shit and they got a shit out of them. The fact are, those 4 teams there,
Yes.
So we should be in the final.
Yeah.
So this is the hardest
semi-final.
Open the door.
the hardest game before the final.
England make it past them, they can face one of these 4 teams. Belgium, Spain. Do you want to face that?
That's in the final. I mean, you've got to hope
Can we
you
start
can
the
somehow get.
conversation, please? I don't want to answer this. I'd be comfortable with this conversation.
Who do we think is the favourite now then, since the favourite went out yesterday?
Well, the favourites, as things stand, are Spain because they're already in the next round and they've already got a favourite draw in the next round. So they are favourites. But as soon as this game concludes, whoever wins this game will be favourites for the tournament.
Belgium ahead of them. Belgium, Italy.
No, I'm telling you facts. I'm not. You're telling me facts.
Oh, sorry, I thought that this was a fact, so we can't use it.
No, like.
Who do we think are favourites then?
Belgium, Italy. So you just went, whoever comes out of this game, they're favourites, and then what we want. No, it could be Italy or Belgium.
No.
Brian went, so who's favourites? And you went, Italy.
No, but the bookie. No, sorry. The facts are that England or Germany will be favourites rather than all play together again. By bookie standards, like the bookies will have Spain currently favourites because they've got a favourable. Germany are to improve.
We deserve to concede, lads. Oh my days, this is so reactionary.
We've got the ball.
I'll tell you what, I know a few Germans were closing our defender down.
You look after the ball for us. For a minute, we had the ball for 6 seconds. Where I was like, oh, yeah, perfect.
Now we laugh at it. We're 1-0 up now. That's it concluded. England go through it. Look at Chris Powell. Is that Chris Powell there? Is that Chris Powell? I love that.
I'm not being honest, but Jack Grealish has to start every game now because he's literally been on as a substitute and been a vital
He's
part
not
of the
starting the next
creativity.
game. Germany's tournament is about to be over. We needed that. Harry Kane needs that as well for the knockout stages. Because now you got him with that off his back. You might stop acting like a useless twat.
Oh, lads, come on. Fucking hell.
Mate,
This is
Oscar.
not the team.
So well done, Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw again.
So Shaw and Grealish have combined for more goals.
Adam, do you remember how angry you were 30 seconds before that goal went in? He was actually brilliant for that. What a header as well. That's a fantastic header. Oh my, look at this.
Easy.
2-0 up.
That's tough, Martin.
It's a great header.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good fight for him. England are 2-0 up, 4 minutes to go against Germany.
We've never won a
Oh
knockout
my
game
God.
in 90 minutes. We've never won a knockout game in 90 minutes.
In Euros, yeah.
That's incredible.
Look at that. No need for penalties.
This is the biggest result of Southgate's career. isn't it?
Wow.
No, yeah, it's bigger than the quarter.
Sorry, I was just saying wow because there was a fella celebrating. He looked like he.
Look at those seeds.
That's class.
There's that Sheffield Wednesday fan who never gets closer. Fantastic. Look at that. That is pandemonium in there.
That's lovely. Look
Lives
at that.
galore. Lucky luck.
I want to tears on camera. Give me some art. I want to see like a child crying with Germany flags on his cheeks and all that.
Muller cried on.
I want to see that happen. Give me some tears. Jack Grealish.
We've got to be open-minded.
England's best
This
player.
has been a fantastic performance.
England's best player.
I said it before the game. If England lose, you hold your hands up and go, Southgate got it wrong. England 2-0 up. We haven't got to go. It's time to acknowledge that he's doing a good job.
This is the best game of his career.
It's time to acknowledge that he's doing a good job. We're 2-0 up. We are now en route to a final. Oh my God.
The only worry
2 games
from me is are lessons being learned to improve moving forward. I can see this is a good performance. We've beaten Germany here. This is amazing. I'm concerned that Jack Grealish has had a big hand in both goals. Again, he literally set up Sterling in the last goal we scored. He's been instrumental in the last 3 goals we've scored as a team where we struggled to score. He has to start the next game.
Why?
He's been managed
Why?
perfectly.
Why do you have to start? It worked perfectly. Why do you have to start?
Because we are lacking creativity, and this lad, right?
What do you think?
You used to sound.
I want to have my opinion and then hear why I'm wrong, and then I'm completely open to concede this point. But as a team, we have lacked creativity from the get-go of this tournament. the person who's created more than anyone else in by a fraction of the time on the pitch compared to everyone else is Jack Grealish. He has proved from coming on as a substitute to me that he is the person to create in a big game moment, and without him we struggle to create. If you tell me why,
you don't. The game lasts 90 minutes. You have to create to win the game a couple of times in 90 minutes. You don't need to start somebody to do that. You have to defend resolutely for 90 minutes. You don't have to create. You don't have to create for 90 minutes. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, very good player for Manchester United. When he used to score winner after winner coming off the bench, he didn't used to start the next game. So to be effective, doesn't mean
do you honestly think that Jack Grealish shouldn't start?
I don't see any reason why he can't contribute really well from the
I've got a question. No, let me have a question. Come on, we're going for the penny. I want to ask you a question. Do you not think, though, that the odds of us creating more goals and therefore winning more games are increased by having a player who, at minutes per game, is clearly creating more than anyone else?
Not necessarily.
So, do you think Jack Grealish is better off used as a substitute, generally speaking? Because I don't know.
I think that Jack Grealish comes on when defences are slightly tired, when we have set up and we have our system in place. He then comes on with 20 minutes to go and has those moments of brilliance.
So he can do it across the whole 90. He's always done that.
But that isn't the system for 90. We're not trying to create goals for 90. We're trying to keep solid for 70.
Against Germany, but I'm saying, generally speaking, in the previous games, he has been the difference.
But we have shown in the games against, say, lighter opposition, that our intention is also to keep it tight. When we play the Ukraine or Sweden in Rome, we will play a defensive system, and it may be Jack Grealish's responsibility to come on after 65 minutes and change the game.
On the flip side, if you don't start Jack Grealish and you allow a game to get away from you, and then it becomes a bit harder. I think personally, giving Jack Grealish as many minutes as possible to impact the game, instead of shortening that time, giving him 20 minutes, you're asking a hell of a lot. I remember Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used to do it, but let's be honest, the more minutes you've got, the more you can impact the game. I think you can only do so much in those 20 minutes, and he's already overperforming. He's actually doing more in 20 minutes than most of the other players.
He's set up 3 of our 4 goals.
England's key.
He's set up 3 of our 4 goals.
Yeah, but Adam, you act like football is so simplistic.
Oh, you act like Gareth Southgate doesn't get anything right.
No, but you act like
that's not true. Because it's about this team and this team. I didn't want to say anything.
I feel like
Sweden and Ukraine, teams that will get relegated from the
Premier
Premier
League.
League.
But you make
want us to go negative. If you want us to go defensive, it's the game.
You think football is so simple that all the best players start the game. That's not what football is. You. Jack Grealish on the pitch, Phil Foden on the pitch, everyone on the pitch.
I've never said start Phil Foden to start.
How it is.
But you fell onto the Phil Foden track to start the tournament. And now you're like you couldn't get to Jack Grealish.
It's far more complex than that. To win a tournament,
you basically judge football by the result rather than what you see. And then when something goes wrong, in hindsight, you go, I told Yes! That's what tournaments are about!
Wow, Muller's going mental. Muller is really not happy.
You don't want to be a player, you don't know if he was a sub in one of the ones. I see what Brian's saying, because I think Grealish opens up the whole team, and I do think that in a tournament as well, there are reverberations when something like Grealish comes on that makes a difference. Other teams start going, shit, what do we do about Grealish? And there is that reputation that grows, and to be fair, they would know that. But it's also great, I think what Gareth Southgate's done is put a lot of emphasis on the elements of Saka and Kane and those guys, and then on Grealish, it completely changes the shape, and it completely confuses Germans.
If we are talking about subjective things like football, is Jack Grealish worth his start for England? Of course he's for a lot of people. We just beat Germany 2-0. It doesn't matter. It's all about beating Germany. It doesn't matter how we do it.
Yeah,
but 10 at the back.
I'm not saying it does. I'm not saying it does. The point I'm making is learning lessons from wins is better than learning lessons from defeats when you're out the tournament, and you can't. What we need to try and do is from this 2-0 go, alright, what went good, what went bad, how can we use that information for future games? And all I'm saying is, I think, alright, given credit to Southgate, I think the game management of this was actually really good. If I'm honest, I think we pressurised Germany well, but also Germany didn't really turn up in the way they're capable of today, and part of that's down to us, but part of that's down to them. You know, this is not the Germany team who played Portugal at all. They look so different, and that's obviously down to us putting pressure on them.
Yes,
but also
it is the Germany.
But they've underperformed a bit as well, and you know, we watched that game and it was very different to this.
It turns out that England made it more difficult for them.
And Southgate got it tactically right defensively, and I'm happy to concede that, and I'm glad we didn't go from it from the get-go, because maybe that wouldn't have been the right option. But going forward, what does it take for Jack Grealish to start games? I get that substitutes are handy to have, but at some point a player becomes too good for a substitute, surely. At some point the player earns the right to start a game, and when you're delivering to the minute by minute that Grealish seems to be, and creating so much where until he comes on the pitch, we look out of ideas. We look empty, we look stale. Jack Grealish changes that in a heartbeat. What if he has the full 90? What if we're winning comfortably instead of waiting for the last 20 minutes?
I don't see why it's even. I don't see.
That's it. Whether you like him, whether you feel neutral about him, or whether you sort of acknowledge what his deficit is, he's just managed a 2-0 win in a knockout round at Wembley against Germany.
That's all we important.
My prediction comes true. It's historic, absolutely. It is a real moment, and the defining feature of this England team is being stingy at the back. That's what we're good at. That's the important thing. Everything else, the goals will come. When you've got the players, we've got the goals will come. Keeping it tight at the back is the priority.
But I don't think the goals will come. Is the point, without playing the right players, because we've relied solely on Sterling to be the one to score the goals aside from Kane at the end. Look, hopefully that changes his culture, but I don't know. I just feel like Jack Grealish has shown so much there that he deserves to start.
I mean, that's fair. A lot of people, I think the vast majority of people will be on your side of this debate than mine. But I just think when you beat Germany 2-0 at home, you're on your way to Rome. I think you've just got to go. The manager got it right. The manager got it spot on, and
I think there's zero debate about this lineup. There's zero debate. It's one of the most significant results in English modern football.
But you can win a game. I'm not disagreeing.
You're laughing as if you've got a better.
Wales got to a semi-final 4 years.
Yeah.
Calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
And everybody all going to be here soon. Calm down.
Maybe we will be.
We got
Just
to
be
today was a great performance.
Maybe you're not happy.
But you've just got one of the greatest results in England history.
In modern history. In modern.
it is.
To knock out Germany.
It's not Germany out of 4 Euros.
How can you debate other people's
Wales got to semi-final.
We've never won a game of Euro knockout football ever in 90 minutes to be clean standards of the Germans. We don't have any standards in England. We're not very successful. We're not very successful. Congratulations on record.
So just to put it in perspective, we're now playing on Saturday 8 PM against the winner of Sweden Ukraine. So that's when the kick-off will be back.
Well, no, we'll be back Friday actually because we do the other.
Is it Belgium, Italy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're doing that as well. So we'll be back on Friday as well. Don't forget that.
Those scenes
Oh, amazing. David Seaman's there as
See,
well.
Paul McAlealy's there.
You know what? To get him scoring on. I mean, if he went through the tournament not scoring and he hadn't scored and he's going into a big game, now you're going into a Sweden game.
But this just proves everything. I'm just on the attacking front. Everything I said about Harry Kane is the service, and the system that we had from the get-go was not getting the best out of him. He put Grealish up there, and he sets him up for the goal. Like, he needs people who are more likely to provide goals for him.
Roy's point, I think I'd agree with it, is that we've got to the point of 70 minutes of a clean sheet. We've worn out the German defence, the spaces. Grealish comes on fresh for 20 minutes. It's worked perfectly.
I haven't had this work perfectly. I'm not saying it hasn't.
Yeah.
I'm saying, is Grealish so good though that if you give him the full game, we may create more chances than other teams? Maybe. I'm pretty sure we're going to face teams better than this German side, because although it's Germany in our heads, the reality is this isn't Germany and we won the World
You
Cup.
will into Germany going out the winter. I think one thing you have to realise against today, England started where we had the long run. Germany came out, then we started to get past their press, and we grew into the game as the game went on, and then kept it 0-0. Jack Grealish comes on, changed the game. Against Germany, in these big games where, alright, if this might not be the greatest Germany side, you're playing the occasion, you're playing Germany, you're playing all that, that works. Going up against Sweden, Ukraine, who are then going to sit back, who are then going to be the team with 2 backs of 4. You can't go into that team then and not have someone that's breaking down
just
the
as an
line
example,
and moving the
if
ball.
Muller, if when Raheem Sterling gives the ball, the ball flies into Muller and he takes that chance. If that same scenario happens in future games, all I'm saying is we might wish we'd attacked more earlier in the game because we are easily capable of being shithoused as well.
Iceland comes to mind, and that's why I say it's such an important. The last year we lost a country who's never been to a tournament ever in the round of 16.
I'm very confident.
And we didn't, exactly what you said, we weren't progressive enough early. We played Jack Wilshere, I think Henderson, it was very slow, Gary Cahill and all that. So you're
I'm not saying change the whole game, I'm just saying let's not fall victim to what we've done to Germany here.
And can't discredit what Southgate's done to get us.
Absolutely.
No, I think the point
you got
is
it
as
right.
well. The point we made before this was this team is meant to be adaptable, and we did see today that the adaptability of the team served them very well. They went from one formation up front where they played a wide Saka being quite defensive to Grealish actually coming a bit more inside, giving them numbers against the central defensive midfielders and the defenders, and basically outnumbering Germany, giving them one more option to pass, and there's so much space out when Grealish comes out there.
Yeah.
And Luke Shaw as well, sorry, I just credit to him because Shaw and Grealish as the two on that left side, they combined for both goals and they both were great.
Fantastic, yeah.
England don't make the final now, it's very different.
You're right.
This team has to be beating those two teams.
Yeah, but the reason I'm saying about the significance of this result is because it would have been a bigger favour.
No, I understand. Then I think you're saying
to get a clean sheet.
that's a great result. But then to go, well, we beat the Germans with this team, so we can't take the team. I think that is just. I can't go that with it. I'm honest. I thought that. What I'm saying is, I thought that was the whole point.
But I think Germany should obviously start against Sweden or Ukraine. Obviously, we're way better side. We beat Sweden in the last World Cup. All I'm saying is, whatever Southgate does on Saturday, you have to back it.
I don't know if we are adaptable because I feel like one of the points Rory made earlier was that we've kind of been building towards this game, playing defensive, trying to nick goals. Even against Scotland, we played pretty similarly. I don't think we are adaptable. I think we have one way of playing, which is to sit back, defend hard,
Defend first. Is our
later in the game, then look to grab a goal. I'll be surprised. I don't think Gareth Southgate is going to deviate from that.
Why should we?
No, but the point is if you, as Adam said, if you then play a team who also want to defend,
Like the Czech Republic.
but who are better than the Czech Republic, for example, that's where we might struggle a little bit because I don't think Gareth is, well, he's shown defensively he's a pretty sound manager in this game, and I'm hoping that that's the case generally. Attacking-wise, clearly that's been a bit of an issue, and I think we've seen that across Southgate's whole managerial career. So all I'm saying is, if we just try and carry on doing this, when a team sits deep and we have to break them down,
But we don't.
well, I mean, we have to win the game.
Yes, but we don't have. If a team wants to sit back against us, like the Czech Republic did, like Croatia did, in fact, we ended up winning those games 1-0.
But,
So we don't have to be.
well, we couldn't score against Scotland.
No, but that's the one you picked the one occasion.
Well-
So far in the game, we played four games, conceded 3 clean sheets. Never conceded a goal, and won 3 out of 4 games.
Yeah.
Sit back. If someone against us, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. The system is working.
So long
Southgate's
as
getting it
guess
right,
now.
Players are doing their part. If we go into this game and the Ukraine and Sweden want to sit back, it's fine. It's fine. I think our quality will tell. We'll get that one chance, we'll get that set piece, and we'll nick the goal. But we don't need to go, okay, they're going to sit back. Right, now we attack.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, but all it takes, for example, in my mind, is that Muller goal to go in, and it's a completely different scenario, and we might still be here right now. And so all I'm saying is,
Or Kate's first
we
goal
need,
goes in, and then it's a complete
we just need. I just hope we're a bit more. When teams do that, I hope we've got answers.
Well, so far, 3 out of 4 times we've played, we've had the answers. So law of averages suggests we do.
Whatever we say about Southgate, I think he's done previous managers. He came in against Roy Hodgson, one of the worst managers in England history, and I think he's done his mistakes. I'm not saying he's the best manager in the world, he's clearly not. But I think he's a bit of a revision. What mistakes do you think? The Iceland result in 2016 was embarrassing.
I'm asking just because you just said mistakes.
Hodgson was full of mistakes.
2016 was one of the worst days in English.
I was trying to expand. Well, I mean, 2024,
What was the mistake?
the mistake of playing 3 games in the tournament. 2014, we went to Brazil without before we played the third game. the selective late phase over.
So 2016 is an example where we didn't create good enough opportunities. We only had 10 minutes at the end when we were desperate. They were somehow they were 2-1 up. I think he's seen it against the Czech Republic, he's seen it against Croatia, to give Grealish, to give Saka, to give Sterling more individual moments of brilliance where they can be isolated against a defender one-on-one, create a chance to score. I think that's what he's done. I've given that.
Saka got injured, that's why Grealish.
It's not why Grealish came on. It's why a substitution had to be made. He chose to do
Use that sounding very.
Starting lineup.
You can't give any credit. You
I
can't
can't
give any
I
credit.
just find it mental that
You
they use
can't even give him credit.
You
You can't give. You can't.
Well, one at a time, though.
He couldn't have. He could have. He didn't have to choose Grealish.
Piss in your mouth.
He didn't have to choose Grealish. You're saying he brought Grealish
deserving
because of the
offside.
injury. It's not why he brought Grealish on. He didn't bring him on because of the injury.
Okay.
But the argument is, if the injury doesn't happen, does Grealish get on the pitch? Possibly not. And I think that is something that you can then make your own mind up. If
In the last game.
Southgate deserves the and he set up the goal.
Yes, but that's the point. Is he got on the pitch? So without an injury being needed.
Absolutely, and he may or may not have done, but he got on the pitch when he did, purely because of the injury. And we don't know. But the point is that was what caused him to come on, and he did great. And I personally wanted to play, but I wondered what you guys would have done in the next game. Substitution-wise, is there any that you make?
By the way, just to be clear, there apparently was no injury to Saka when he came on. Apparently, he was going to knock out.
So there's a tactical decision. It's a tactical substitution.
Well, I don't know, but
That's just so we've got accuracy.
when we watched him, it looked like there was possible damage in his ankle, and maybe it was a precaution by Southgate. Southgate thought, I want to take him off anyway. I got Grealish lined up. I'm not trying to take away from Southgate. I'm just trying to say accurately what happened.
Exactly.
Going back to what we were talking about, would you start a team any different to this one for the next game?
Yeah. I think you drop Trippier, you bring in Jack Grealish. I think we all agree with that. All I'm saying is don't discredit Southgate.
I haven't said that.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think we'd all agree that Grealish will start this game.
So
I don't think we do.
So basically, Walker is down the right back, and then we've got
It's about 4 again.
so then we've got.
Because we're hoping it's, Sweden are a good side, they've got some fantastic players. It is Ukraine.
So you then go Saka, Sterling, and Grealish behind Kane. So
I think Mount will play. Mount will be available for selection, and over the years, Southgate has picked Mason Mount.
So it'll be Mount over Grealish.
It's also partly dependent on what is done in who we're playing, whether it's Sweden or Ukraine.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to gauge what you guys would do. That's all.
I think there'll be minimal changes. I think two at most.
I also think that it's worth acknowledging Southgate is informed by the shape the opposition play. So the likelihood is if we do play someone who's going to sit deep with a back three, he might switch things up. If we play someone who's going to be more attacking, he actually might play a back three and soak up that pressure, hit them. Because the fact is, England have also got really quick players compared to anyone else in the tournament. So
we don't move the ball quickly though. That's part of the problem.
No, but
up until Grealish coming on, we looked poor when we were trying to counter attack. We were running into players constantly, and that's what I don't want to do is glaze over the fact that Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling, although they've scored goals, have not played well in the games generally.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. I made that point at the start of the tournament. You play the numbers, you get the crosses in, and they will deliver. They're both proven in the numbers department. It's creating those opportunities that worries me, because without Grealish, I don't see how that happens. Right. Because Saka, today, while he was nice on the ball, wasn't exactly tearing it up.
No. His role will be different against maybe a Ukraine or a Sweden, though, partly because he won't have so much A, maybe quality to worry about, and B, sort of a threat. And if you play a back four like that, you need Saka to maybe do a little less, because he's not playing against a Kimmich or something like that. There's no worry.
I'm very excited now, lads. I know we've had some heated debates, as we always like to do, but I do think we've got a golden opportunity. And, we got to the semis last time. Hopefully he has learned his lesson. We've got to fucking win this thing, because watching France go down in flames to fucking Switzerland, that should have proved that anything can fucking happen here. Like, everyone's beatable, and really, right, we got Italy, we got Belgium, we got Spain.
As well. Spain,
yeah,
and then I think
so, we're on the right side of the fucking draw here. You know what I mean? We got one big name left, and then
I think Ukraine beat one where you say, right, we should be beating Ukraine. Sweden is the phenomenon.
Team that Bobby beat Denmark, obviously you've got the whole feeling around the country at the moment and their team. If you look at the spine of that team, you've got Christensen, Simon Kjær, you've got Højbjerg, Damsgaard, who's coming out really well, and then you've got a couple of options from Poulsen and what's the other, Kasper Dolberg.
Dolberg's been fantastic.
They've got a great spine to the team, and I feel like them at the moment would feel like this is our year kind of thing, and that's the one game that would really worry me. Going to play Sweden or Ukraine, you take either of them. Sweden's probably the better team. Defensively, they're very good, Sweden.
I do think, though, we do tend to be quite England-centric, and I've got to admit, I think England playing like this will also be putting other teams on the back foot. They'll get frustrated they're not scoring goals. We very often think, oh, England, we've got to go out there and be offensive. We are frustrating other side.
Absolutely.
And that will be also something which is A, unexpected, because when you come up against England there's a perception of it, but B, they will be angry when that happens and worried about
nobody wants
that
to
they've
play.
seen.
Nobody wants to play.
They are now 5-2 favourites on them.
I give credit to Southgate for making us hard to play against as well. The only worry is what happens when someone fights fire with fire. How do we deal with that? And we're going to find out, but well done the lads, you know.
Yeah, I mean, 2-0 against Germany is impressive. We should acknowledge this is a Germany team. There's a lot of veterans in there.
Yeah.
They didn't quite look
They're in a transitional phase, but it's still fucking German.
I would say, because you look at that midfield, I think the midfield battle today was huge. Cruz, Goretzka, they even left Gundogan out, who'd probably start for us, you know what I mean? So it might not be a great Germany team,
it's a
but
good Germany.
it's a good Germany.
Let's acknowledge that back three today was also a great choice, because Harry Maguire came forward. So
I said that before the game, yeah. I expected him to go with the three and the two big backs because of their big backs, and that was the right thing. Like I even told you, like I expect to see that. You need to do more when you're on the ball, and obviously we won the game today. But that's the one thing going in against Sweden, Ukraine. Like I feel like you've got maybe I'm too negative, you've got too positive. Going in the middle, going against Sweden and Ukraine, they sit back. We need more. We can't go in with what we've gone in against Croatia and Czech Republic and Scotland, because that won't be enough. They're not going to sit. They're going to. Germany
Germany did us some favours because they came in that old level. But obviously, that's where Southgate's going to have a different kind of challenge.
But I think the tactic would be keep it tight, keep defensive, keep the strategy that has seen us this far, and then hope that your brilliance, your more mercurial players, your elite footballers further up the pitch get that moment. It only takes that moment, and then the game plan changes.
If Harry Kane, if this bursts him into flames now, we're winning. Because when Kane's on form, he's the best player in this tournament. So that gives me. I hope he fucking feels great.
Yeah, if Kane scores 2 goals, if that has given him the confidence that he needs. He just scored, by the way, against Germany, a difficult chance. He's very impressive. He's likely to light a fire under him. He goes to Rome now and is on the flight back with the match ball. Game on him.
Yeah, that's what we need. We'll wrap it up there.
The last time that England kept 14 sheets.
66.
Bobby Styles. Bobby Styles.
That is why it's one of the significant results in modern football. I think
that's why you do need to calm down. Nobby Styles has been out of the reason for all that. Thank you very much to Free Trade. Our sponsors, they've been fantastic. Head over to freetrade.io/TG. Get yourself a share with up to £200 if you sign on over there. Great sponsors, and they've been with us throughout the world, so thanks to them. Remember, your capital is a risk, and these guys do not take percentages of deals. They do sometimes put charges on some of their transactions, so go take a look over there. It's a fantastic platform for beginners and experts. Tag me in that picture of that girl crying as well.
Appreciate the boys. We had a fucking great time.
Well, now
we're going all the way to the final. It's going to be a great
it is
night.
coming up.
Make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. We will see you on the next one. Cheers.
That was a good minute. Good minute. Alright. Let's play something else. No comments here. Gut, ist gut.
Pay to send the cars over here and there and do the auditoriums that it would have to take place in. I'd do that.
I guarantee you someone's going to hear this and reach out. So where would they contact you at? What's the best way if someone's...
They should do that from Pulp Fiction. I was doing a thing like the cars or the vehicles from Quentin Tarantino's movies, just going on a tour. You know, put them all together, and you go to a place and just lay them all out.
I think that would be fantastic. I think people would love that.
Yeah, if somebody wanted to actually finance the tour and everything, and you pay to send the cars over here and there and do the auditoriums that it would have to take place in, I'd do that.
I guarantee you someone's going to hear this and reach out. So where would they contact you at? What's the best way if someone's...
They should do William Morris.
William Morris, okay. WME now.
Yeah.
Old habits.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
So those films, when you're doing these kind of crazy smash up films where you have these classic cars and you're doing this kind of stuff, do people ever get angry that you're destroying these? Because those cars are like beloved American iconic.
Yeah, okay, yeah. When you're actually buying them from the collector, you don't tell them what you're gonna do. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding? This is like my baby. This is my son.
Yeah.
Or my daughter. Yeah. So you don't tell them what you're gonna use.
I mean, not just the general public, because people love those cars so much.
No, but well, it's a car chase movie. You know,
Right.
they want to see a good, exciting car chase.
Yeah. When you look back at a film like that, I mean, that film is so over the top. It's so chaotic too. Like, what was that like putting that like Death Proof together? Because it seems it's such a crazy movie because there's so much dialogue and you're getting to know these people and they die in horrific, terrible ways.
Well, I'd been coming to Austin by that point in time, about 10 years. And so I had a whole group of friends in Austin. I had all these memories, and I've been, later I owned a movie theater called the New Beverly Cinema, and I still own it now. And we would show movies there oftentimes from my collection. But before I had that theater, I used to come to Austin, and we would have what we call QT Film Fest, where I bring a bunch of prints over, and we would usually, first we did it at the Dobie, when the Dobie was like a cool independent theater out here, and then it became the Alamo Draft House, back on like Guadalupe or whatever. And we would go and show the movies there, and that's how I got to know Tim Teague and all the Alamo Draft House people. And we would have like 2 weeks or a week and a half, all right, of movies, and so I got to just really know all the cinema people and all the, just all the cool hipsters
10 minutes.
in Austin. I got very familiar with them. And so when I did Death Proof, that made it take place in Austin.
there. We're almost there. $22K. 22K. Stuff trailer up here. That means I need to sell the old one out. And then sell the trailer, go It's water. These are all water. I thought these were all lands. Fuck, that means I have to go from there. Yeah. Oh shit. It's not good. Not good. Alright. 16. This is it for today. I'll probably be doing a few more missions on the game, but probably see you tomorrow night, same time. Thanks for watching, bro.